Small world, you know?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to bring the meeting of the Winchester Board of Ed to order at 7:02 p.m. I'd like to call for a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. No? Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Sorry. Sure. Sorry. Let's do Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call.
Joseph Santoro.
Chrissy Rylander.
Frank Oliveri.
Kurt Warner.
Julie Libby.
Nora Mukarski.
Eleanor Bishop.
Carol Kechek and Shane Centrella are excused. And Jonathan's going to be running a little late tonight.
You have a quorum?
We do. All right. Can I go to item 2, approval of the agenda? Do you have anything to add to the agenda this evening? Can I make a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Nora? Can I have a second?
A second.
Christine? Thank you.
One more.
All right, on to item 3. Oop. Oh, can we vote for the approval of agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Motion passes. On to item 3, student showcase.
We have some special surprises tonight. I see one of our new innovation teachers with us, so you're going to get to learn a little bit about our library innovation special. This is Mr. Hurlbut.
Hello. All right, good evening, Board of Ed members and families. We're very excited to showcase this evening our innovation program. As some of you may be aware, we revised our program in our library to include more STEM activities, still including library and taking out books and the love of literacy, but really zhuzhing it up a little bit so that our kids are really excited to come to the program, learning some 21st century skills. And I have 3 second graders here with me today and our wonderful innovation teacher at Hinsdale, Mr. Jesse Hurlbert, who are going to share some things. So first I'd like the students to introduce themselves to you. Go ahead, you could be first.
Hello, my name is Ethan and I'm in second grade. My
Nice
name is
meeting you.
Wayland and I'm also in second grade. My name's Callie and I'm in 2.
All right, excellent. Take it away, Mr. Hurlbert.
All right, so let's have you do the work. Can you explain the chop saw for us?
So, you can't really get hurt because this thing right here protects you from the part that cuts cardboard under it, and even if you could touch it, it wouldn't be strong enough to hurt you. So each strip on this that shows numbers is an inch. So if you want to make slits in it to put stuff together, you go to the 1 and you put it to another piece of cardboard.
So if you're familiar with a bandsaw or a jigsaw, it works very similar to that. There's an oscillating cutting head in here, just like you would find on a bandsaw, except it is completely childproof. I mean, my 2-year-old could use this. It's designed not to catch hair. It's designed not to catch clothes. Our pre-K students at Hinsdale have used it extensively. Our second graders have used it the most. They've gone through a whole badging process of having to do an 8-step process in order to really become masters at it. And it's really teaching kids about early vocational skills, getting kids used to using tools. It's something I grew up doing, and I think it's something that's very important. On Friday, my wife had a flat tire, and I had to change her tire, and I'm very thankful that I had that skill set that I learned as a young child. So getting these kids to be able to use some of these tools, as simple as they can be, is something we look forward to and something that they truly enjoy. And it really aids in the creativity process that comes in with the innovation part of it. And they have some projects they would like to show you. I'll let you show off your work.
Wow.
These are all made and designed by them.
Wow.
So cool. Wow.
Nice. Wow.
All right, here, I'll put the rest of your other ones will pop on the table. You want to
Wow.
explain what you made?
I made a gecko and I used it gecko and I like the mouth right here, the eyes, and then it's all green. I made a rainbow bird because I thought it would be a cool creation and I thought it would be nice to make.
Okay.
This that I made was a cube bomb.
Yes. Sean, can you explain to them how you are able to cut through without having?
There was this tool that you would put into the cardboard and then you would screw it to the end and then you would put the knob into it and then you would go around the lines of what you wanted to cut.
Wow.
Nice.
I made a pizza that I put 3 pieces of pepperoni on it like this because the mouth and then the 2 eyes. Like this mouth.
Very nice.
Anything else, the three of you want to say about it?
Nice work.
Wow, very good.
Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much. I have to say that one of the indicators of successful youth is a sense of efficacy, that belief that you are capable. And I think this class in particular really feeds that. When kids can put their hands on tools and build things, they see themselves as capable. And I think that is exactly where we want to be with kids.
Well, I'm glad that the tools are safe
Yes.
and you're willing to experiment with creativity.
Yep. Thank you.
Nice job, guys. Thank you.
Nice job, everyone.
Okay, let's move on to item 4, public comment. The Winchester Board of Education welcomes you to its business meeting. There are 2 opportunities to set aside to hear comments from the public. We welcome and encourage public participation as a valued part of communicating input with the Winchester Board of Education. We appreciate your adherence to the following. Complete the requested information on the sign-in sheet if you wish to speak, name, address, and email. State your name and address when called upon to speak, and you will be allotted 3 minutes to share your comments. Please be advised that it is not the practice of the Board of Education to engage in dialogue regarding commentary. The superintendent of schools will be directed by the chairperson to prepare an appropriate response in a timely manner. We appreciate your time and thoughtful commentary. Does anyone wish to speak? Does anyone wish to speak? Does anyone wish to speak? Okay, seeing no one. Move on to item 5, the approval of the minutes. Minutes of the regular Board of Ed meeting on December 9th, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from December 9th.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
See. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. All right, can I make a motion to approve the minutes for the special Board of Ed meeting on December 18th, 2025?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting on December 18th.
Okay,
I will
second?
I'll second.
All right, Frank will second. All in favor? Okay. All right, moving on to item 6, communications, chairperson's comments. We found some, I think, good news on Friday for some. For others, we might be a little disappointed in the decision, but I would like to thank our principal at Pearson, Barbara Silveria, for her time for the 12 years she's served with us. She is choosing, but at the end of the year, to retire. So thank you for your service. We appreciate it. I know my wife appreciates you. So thank you very much. Can we have a round of applause for her? Okay. Moving on, student representative reports.
Hello, my name is Zion Harris. I'm in 2nd grade. This month, students in kindergarten through grade 2 are engaging in mid-year assessment preparation. Students are reviewing strategies and showcasing all the skills and knowledge they learned so far. This year, we look forward to celebrating all of our growth so far. Each grade level is busy learning. In preschool, they are learning about animals. They are also adding and subtracting math problems up to 5 and about what makes a pair. On kindergarten, they are learning a lot about farms, like the plants that are growing on farms and the animals that are raised. They also learned many new sounds and are now able to read simple phrases and sentences. They are even reading some books. In grade 1, they are learning about the Mayas, Aztecs, and Incas. They are working on using number lines to count and subtract. Grade 2, we are learning about the different states of matter, which include solids, liquids, and gases. We are learning how to read words with all controlled vowels. One thing I would like to see happen at Hinsdale is fun activities to help spread kindness. Thank you for having me.
Great job, Zion.
Good evening, board members. Hello, my name is Sonia Kalman. For school activities and events, we just started iReady testing this week. For our academic highlights, something neat that students have been learning in grade 3, in math, students have been learning how to calculate elapsed time, measure mass and volume to solve problems, as well as model and compare fractions in different ways. In language arts, students have been studying the rise and decline of the Roman Empire. In science, students continue to learn about forces and motion. Throughout this unit, students ask questions and define problems as well as planned and carried out investigations. In math, we are learning about fractions. In 4th grade, in language arts, students learned about the Islamic Empire and the caliphates that ruled. We also learned what a civil war is. We are writing historical fiction where we pretend to be part of a caravan traveling across the desert. In science, we've been testing the level of energy spheres have as they roll down ramps from different heights and will continue to experiment with the transfer of energy in the next weeks. In 5th grade in math, students are studying multiplication strategies leading up to the standard algorithm. In language arts, students are studying the adventures of Don Quixote and how he tries to lead a life of chivalry. In science, students are learning about states of matter. In 6th grade in math, 6th graders are studying unit rates and percentages. In language arts in ELA, 6th graders are finishing up the unit on chocolate. Students are writing an essay. They can write an informational essay about the history of chocolate or an opinion essay on whether or not chocolate equals happiness. In science, students are experimenting with convection currents in the classroom, connected to our weather and climate unit. Some school improvements and needs are to improve technology, increase field trips and learning experiences, and to have more fundraisers and donations to local needs. One great thing about Pearson is the wide selection of food at lunch and the well-organized dismissal plan. Thank you for inviting me to share Pearson School happenings with you this evening.
I know it was unfortunate that part of the chocolate curriculum, they were supposed to go to a chocolate shop in Waterbury. And due to the water main break, they were not able to go. So they did miss out on that aspect of it. So that was unfortunate. Thank you. All right. On to item C, superintendent's report.
Let's draw your attention to a few things in the report. We continue to keep our eye on the prize. We focus on relationships and high-quality instruction, and try and block out noise. Those are our objectives, and we stay steady. We are just completing mid-year assessments, literacy assessment using DIBELS and iReady, and math assessment also in the iReady. We are trying to have literacy live large in our schools. We have a literacy night coming up January 26th that is book tasting. It's sort of chef themed and should be phenomenal. Thank you to Ms. St. Hilaire, who's been taking lead with our coach Shannon Ball to get that planned. It should be fabulous. We've just completed our first round of parent conferences. We do those twice a year, once in late fall and once in the spring. We had greater than 90% of our parents attend conferences, which really is remarkable. I suspect that there are not many school districts that have that level of participation. We did attend, not without a little bit of drama, the holiday concert at Gilbert and had a wonderful time. It was monsooning out. Special thanks to the bus company that made lap after lap after lap, bringing us back and forth. The teachers were such good sports because they had to billy-goat it up the hill in the pouring rain. There were a few slip and falls. But my understanding is the bus company is not charging us for this event, that there were enough things that went wrong about it, I think, that they were very gracious and will not be charging us. So that was lovely of them and a great opportunity to partner with the Gilbert School. We also had a very special event at Pearson School. It goes right along with what you're hearing as the children talk to you about the tools that they use and the things that they're learning. Pearson School each fall hosts a talent show, which gives kids that opportunity to really show off their stuff, and it was a huge success. roof update, we're gonna talk about, you have really heard the state of the roof, you know the moisture is prevalent, we'll have that under an action item. And the preschool expansion, I'll just tell you quickly now that, oh shoot, I think they're called H2M. I'm gonna double check that before we get to the next part, but we have, oh, I have it on the piece of paper.
H2M is the consultant, yes, that's the name, that's their name.
That is
H2M, yes.
Thank you. H2M has been so gracious in offering us just a little bit of support in thinking through the feasibility of doing an expansion. And so I'm bringing you, when we get to it on the action item, just a concept drawing that they did for us after coming and visiting and looking at the plans to see if this was even worth pursuing or if it was not feasible. So they have been spectacular, and ultimately we landed on the idea of putting something where the small playground is in front of the school, relocating the pre-K playground behind the school, which I actually really like the idea of anyway. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. We are careening forward in the budget process. I will be presenting to this board in this room on February 3rd. We'll start getting notifications out about that. We hope to draw a crowd. I guess we could bring popcorn if we wanted. But know that so much work is going into the process in terms of identifying needs and then working with the board, as you all know, to establish priorities and then make tough decisions about what will be in the budget that I share with you on the 3rd. By the time it gets to you, it will already have been pared down. And when I present it, I'll share with you all of the things that didn't make it even into that draft of the budget. But, you know, I live in the real world and recognize that not every need will get filled in one budget. So, just as a quick update, Nora, the
I
culvert
saw
is
that.
clean.
That's fantastic.
I knew you'd be excited.
Oh, very much so. You see, I wrote hooray.
We appreciate you holding our
Culvert's here too.
toes to it and making sure we got it done.
Yes.
I deal with culverts too at the Board of Ed. Did that for my old career.
Oh, really?
Come on, let's get away from
Well,
this.
then you know hooray.
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'll drive by, take a look-see.
We hosted a wonderful luncheon for the students through grant funds, so it didn't cost the district any money, but the kids had a real nice holiday meal right before break, and several Board of Ed, Board of Selectmen members, community members came and had lunch with us as well. I meant to be able to say the last day of school, and I apologize, I never figured out the date. I started to write it and didn't do it. My apologies. We've had, I believe, 2 snow days, so whatever's on the calendar plus 2. When we have a snow day, we do always add it on, so you can always follow that way.
It's 1 for 1 then for every snow day. It's not 2 for 1 sale.
No.
Okay, I mean, some just wait. Okay,
I grew up in the city.
Some-
What's a
Wouldn't
snow-
that be a thing?
what's a
Sometimes
snow
you
day?
need 2 to
I grew up-
move.
I went to school in the city. What's a snow day?
In the past, I've talked to you about the community table I've referred to, or the LGP, Local Governance Partners, which is the early childhood initiative with the state. Our group has met twice under the direction of Renee St. Hilaire and is working on drafting their mission and vision statements, and has, after a very democratic process and honing and working on it, come up with the name. They are the Winchester Families and Futures Collaborative. And there are more than 20 people participating. There are people from so many town organizations, the YMCA, the Winston Area Child Care, AMP, social services, all of the groups. And
can you say the name again? Winchester Families and...
it's right there.
Or down below?
First thing under Ed Leadership. Winchester
Oh, right there.
Families and
Okay,
Futures Collaborative. WFFC, for all future
Okay.
reference. But it's gonna be a powerhouse team. My advisory council is awesome. I have 6 members. We've met twice already. At this last meeting, we actually drafted a beginning communication plan for the district. This group is awesome. We are talking about issues, we're talking a little bit about budget advocacy, and we are doing work. One of the things that came out of that we're meeting as a district leadership team on is the transition between Hinsdale and Pearson, and looking for ways to add some pieces into that that will just make it an even smoother transition. So that was something that came out of that work. I won't say too much tonight, except to also say thank you to Barb. You know, coming in new as a superintendent, you never know what your leadership team will be like and whether you will be well received by the existing leaders in the district. And when I got here, I remember meeting with Barb and Rosie, actually from my dad's in South Carolina before I started, on Zoom a couple of times to just get my bearings and start talking about some of the issues that were going on in town last fall. And from the very first conversation, I knew that Barb was completely the most kind professional ever, and she was warm and welcoming and has a can-do attitude, and no matter what it is, she handles it with grace and wisdom, and it will be nearly impossible to fill her shoes. That said, we will run a very inclusive search. We will, before we even start posting the job and advertising, we will do some gather input from all of the stakeholders, kids, parents, staff, to figure out what we really feel the district needs at this moment, because at different historical moments, districts need different things. So we'll make sure that we adjust our job description to really reflect where we are today and what we feel we need. Once we get that input, we will post the job, advertise it as broadly as we can. As of sometime in the last 48 hours, we have a LinkedIn page now where we're able to post jobs, which will hopefully broaden our ability to search. We will have inclusive committees, do screenings and interviews, and eventually the board will interview and approve a final candidate. Because Barb was so gracious to give us this news now, we have the luxury of running our process thoroughly and carefully throughout the spring, and hope to have someone in place to start on July 1 and potentially be able to transition with Barb before she goes. So
Thank you, Dawn. No speech.
there will be so many opportunities this spring to celebrate Barb, and we do have a district end of the year celebration at which we will definitely be honoring Barb.
Go out quietly.
So, we've started negotiating the paraprofessional contract. We are looking to up our website game. We're not satisfied with the status of our website, so Matthew, Tiffany, Charlene, and I have been reviewing other website companies, ruling out ones that cost particularly more than ours, considering the ones that cost more or less the same as ours, and I think we're looking at switching companies, which, if nothing else, gives you a strong reset. And the company that we're leaning towards actually does not have, like, you know how all the websites kind of look the same? This company doesn't actually have a template. They design to you. So that's a little daunting and also a little exciting. But it will give us the opportunity to reorganize and sort of refigure out what the right categories are and just update our information. We will make sure that we are cross-posting between website, Facebook, I guess those are our two
Town
primaries.
website too, and would there be a link from it to ours?
Yes,
Yeah.
we already are linked through
Yep.
the town website,
Yep.
and we will continue to. I don't
Yep.
think you can cross-post between them,
No.
but we can have our Facebook posts appear in our feed, I believe. So we're underway with that. Although we've already celebrated Jenny Farrell, I'll just let you know that I was very proud to walk her across the stage and shake the commissioner's hand when she was recognized as our Teacher of the Year. And you know, we participated in our budget workshop, which was very valuable, I feel. Gave me a great opportunity to hear the hopes and dreams of the board and what are the things that are sort of the non-negotiables in your eyes. So it will be reflected in the budget draft that I bring you.
I have just a couple of questions on some of this. Do we have the contracts, you mentioned paraprofessional negotiations underway. Is there any other contract this year? The school lunch,
Cafeteria.
CAF?
Yep,
That's also underway?
that's it, right? Next year will be administrators.
Admin is the following year? Okay.
I think that may be everyone. We did 3 last year.
You did? Yeah.
Some
Okay.
of them starting as soon as my second day at work.
I just wanted to let the community know about the roof just to make sure it's clear that everybody knows that the roof is 30%, taxpayer 70% reimbursable by the state of Connecticut, because in case people tune out before the end of the evening. And then the preschool program, should it go, is 100% reimbursable. I think that's important, that, because we're talking about budget moving forward. Do we have, and it may not be appropriate for now, do we have a retreat date? Is it February?
It's January
January
31st.
It is January 31st, because I know CABE wasn't available, so it's the 31st, not in February. Okay. That's it. Congratulations, Barb.
And for the preschool, we can get into this, the referendum, we're gonna have to put out to vote the 30% that will eventually be reimbursed.
So for any
So for
project,
the total 100%.
so the town has the option to go to referendum for the full amount or just the town's portion. If you only go to referendum for the town's portion, so example 30% to do the roof, the state may look at you a little cross-eyed and worry, because if the job comes in more than estimated, you don't have any wiggle room. So it'll be a decision that the town manager and Board of Selectmen will ultimately make on how much to go to referendum for to make it work. But you only have to go for the portion that is your portion.
Okay.
And that was checked again by a couple sources, because there's a lot of mixed beliefs about that.
Okay.
I think it's typical to go for more than just your portion, but within reason more.
Okay.
Because again, just for a safety net.
Do you want to point out any dates or anything? Or are you good?
I'm good. Let's see, well, for anybody who doesn't have the paper in front of them, let's see, we have a magic show coming up, should be fabulous. We'll have our concerts in January, the literacy night. We have our first round of committee meetings, the 27th, and again, the budget presentation on the 3rd.
Perfect, thank you. All right. Moving on to committee reports.
Thank you.
Since we have not met for any of the committees, we can move on from that. So let's move on to the liaison report. Perfect timing, Jonathan.
So updates include the official approval of the Gilbert School year calendar, and we informed Gilbert at our last meeting about the creation of our standing committee in lieu of our ad hoc. And we got a report from Mike Susi that the ASO has been certified to carry. And also policy 7551, the naming of facilities, went to second read last meeting and should be approved soon.
Okay, perfect. All right, on to item 7, information items, enrollment reports.
Okay, you will see that you have updated enrollment data. There is nothing very notable on the enrollment report. It doesn't change drastically month to month. We currently have 401 of our students at the Gilbert School and are forecasting 390 at the number, maybe 8 for next year. As far as the attendance data goes, we are running a little bit better than we were this time last year in terms of our average daily student attendance. Our chronic absenteeism is a little bit more than it was last year across the district. Hinsdale was a little bit lower at this time last year, but the 25% in December with only 17 days is not uncommon. Again, remembering that 2 days would make you chronically absent. So you'll find that any given month, those numbers are much higher, but if you look across the year, we're tracking at 9.5%. I would love that number ultimately to get to 5%, would be phenomenal, and our average daily attendance to be at 95%. Those are sort of, in my mind, outstanding indicators. We're not there yet, but we continue to hammer away at that.
I'm actually surprised with the flu variant that our attendance is
Not
better.
worse.
Yeah.
There's no doubt, it's winter and it's all going around. Let's see. We did fill our accounting specialist role. Our new person, Lynn, seems to be doing a wonderful job, so that is very exciting. That's a very important role. That's who pays our bills. So if we don't get that right, we are not good neighbors. So we're thrilled that Lynn's off and running. And I think that's all I'll draw your attention to today. We have posted and are beginning to screen for a replacement school safety officer for Pearson School. And we are, I think, did I share last time? I may not have. Our Power School data person is retiring. She's still working for us on an hourly basis, keeping us afloat while we run a process, but she has done a beautiful job for us and is hanging in there with us until we replace her. But she is retiring and going to focus on her health and other personal pursuits. And financials. So the over-under is that we are on target to stay within the appropriated budget without decimating grants more so than intended. Some of the variance you'll see, for example, some positions that were planned for in, which direction do I want to go? Wages ended up being paid, we have a speech teacher being paid in the professional technical services line. That should be in wages, but since we didn't find a direct hire, that goes in a different place. That's probably one of the biggest variances. Pupil transportation running over is a function of McKinney-Vento, which we hadn't budgeted much for, but it is a blossoming budget line for us, so we will be budgeting for it next year. You'll see a real number based on what we've been spending these last couple of years, because that's not going away. And our special education transportation is a little bit above what was planned as our out-of-district tuition. Not insanely out of line, but already over. And
How much over are we, like, on the McKinney-Bento estimation? Because we were in the same position last year, we talked about this being over.
we've got about 60,000 right now in McKinney-Vento,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we budgeted 5, 10, 2?
2 or 5, I mean,
A little number.
Like
Because of
5,000,
previous experience.
and we're at
And
60,000.
they came in at the end of the school year.
Yeah.
The budget was already done, so,
Yeah,
yeah, we're kind of carrying it over, unfortunately.
And that represents the shift from when the state started to say we are half responsible
Right.
for, regardless of if kids are in or, whichever direction they're going. It used to be you only paid in one direction, but now
What
we
was-
pay half of every child.
what was it in 2024, 25? Because if we're at 5,000 and 6,000 in the hole, were we,
We were way more than 5,000 or 6,000 home. Nancy's saying that's what we put in the budget for this year.
for 60,000?
No,
No, we
we
put
spent
5,000.
60,000.
We spent 60, we put 5. What did we put in 24, 25? Any idea? Wasn't it the same, like
That was
5?
in the budget.
Yeah.
That was, yes, that's about
Okay,
5,000.
so it's 2 years in a row at 5,000. Okay,
And prior to that, it wasn't even a budget line. It
Right.
was just sort of
moving chips.
in there with special education and in other
Yeah.
places.
So this budget will be more realistic?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
What do you recommend then going forward? 120? 60?
It's about 60, we're over by 60 right now.
Right.
So, and the balance is special ed and the transportation line. But I'm trying to remember what I put in the budget. I'd have to go back and look. I mean,
Okay.
I analyzed what,
Sure.
we had going on. so, I mean, there's
Okay.
sufficient money. The budget you're going to see.
Alrighty. I must remember that. Okay. Thank you.
Another sort of over-under you'll see is property services. We ended up doing that lease for the Chromebooks, so that line is running over, but the supply line is running under. And just as a reminder on the grant page, our IDEA grants go almost exclusively for wages, a little bit for supplies. All 4 lines of the IDEA. In case anyone doesn't know, the grants are designed to be 2-year grants. That's why every grant is on there 2 times. So there's the new grant and the old grant. So the carryover is the old grant. And we do that, we basically spend 1 year's grant money each year, but we spend the end of one and the beginning of the other, so that, God forbid, something enormous financially happens, we would have the part of the previous year and all of the current year. We would never want to do that, but it's smart hedging on Nancy's part to just keep us going that way. So Title I, again, also almost exclusively wages, a little bit for supplies. Title II is professional learning. Title III goes to wages. And Title IV, as you can see, is very small. And I just draw your attention to that by way of saying that the grant money that we get is used to offset the appropriated budget. It's not like going to some other special projects. It is applied to the budget.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All right, on to item E, social media discussion. I wanted to bring the attention to the board that we do have a social media page out there currently. Winchester Board of Ed, with your names attached to it, correct? All right, what we want to discuss tonight is, one, do we want to have a social media page? One, I think one of the things we discussed is getting information out to the public. So I'm all in favor for it, but I want to make sure that we're putting it out into proper format. So I just wanted to have a discussion about whether we want, as a board, to have a social media page so we continue to get the word out to the public, and kind of mirror what we're doing already for the Winchester Public Schools. And then we want to discuss how that's going to operate, and who will be the administrators and all that. So I'd just like to open up the discussion for that. So
When you say social media, do you mean Facebook?
Facebook.
What's the extent?
Yeah, I think
What's that other stuff?
I think
TikTok?
Facebook. I don't know if I want to.
What's the
I'm
other
not
stuff?
comfortable with TikTok.
No,
'Cause I mean,
TikTok.
I don't know
No
TikTok.
Snapchat?
yeah, I would
I don't know
say
that either.
let's lean into Facebook for now.
Just Facebook?
Yeah, because I think for the majority of us, I think we're comfortable
And I
with
feel like
that.
it functions in place of a newspaper, basically. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
most of our community relies on Facebook to get information about the happenings. So that was our thinking. And yeah, like, so if we all want to be included, obviously we, make a summary of the meetings, but then does everybody want to give like a thumbs up? Like, can that be done via email? Do we want to entrust one person to just do it and we just say like, yeah, I'm sure everybody will want to approve what is being
Something
posted.
with your name attached to, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is separate from the Winchester Public Schools Facebook page?
Correct.
This is exclusively a Board of Ed
Yes.
Facebook page?
To kind of just like summarize important notes, it's a good place to talk about the roof and the preschool expansion, just to highlight, like, make sure people are aware that there is, really good reimbursement and it will be going out to referendum. And I think it's just a good way to do like a quick update for maybe people that don't have the time or ability to tune into these meetings.
Do other boards have exclusive Board of Ed Facebook pages?
So I've researched it. One of the boards, Watertown, I reached out to the board chair. They've had a Facebook page since 2021. It is administered by the chair, the vice chair, and then depending on the party affiliation, someone from the other party's line that administers it. From what he says, that the vice chair and the other person does the content, they ask for approval, and then it gets out there. It's strictly informational. There's nothing as far as anything that could create discussion or, you know, you know how Facebook
If
is.
we start commenting, we
Yeah.
become a meeting.
Right.
That becomes a problem.
Yeah. So there are also rules through the state for boards to have social media pages as well, or even individual pages as a board member. So we want to make sure that we're not putting ourselves out there and opening ourselves up to stuff.
I would be not in favor, because someone, whoever the opposite party would be, would need to have the time to be able to vet what is going out there by the chair and the vice chair, which tends to be the same party, not always. So the three people need to be active members in addition to committee meetings. There are 4 now. We also serve on the Gilbert School Corp, there's 4 of us. And we serve on our own board, so that's a lot of time. I'm not sure that persons would be able to be robustly available, if you would, to put things out there and then timely okay it and then to timely put it out. I think communication's important. I'd rather have a newspaper. I know this is the reality, we don't.
We can't tackle that.
We don't have a paper.
Bring the postage.
But it would require, one, someone's gotta control the comments.
Yep.
And you allow them,
Or
you could
not
cut them
allow
off.
them,
You would have to
yes.
cut them off.
Right.
Because that would mean it'd be a
Yeah.
full-time job for somebody to respond.
And that's why I want to have this discussion, because I don't think allowing comments would be,
I don't
if
wanna-
this is strictly an informational page,
Yeah.
I don't think we necessarily need comments.
No.
People don't need to comment on, you know, hey, we have a board meeting tonight, or we could link our meetings after the fact. So, yeah, I think that's one thing that if we're gonna do it, we're gonna look at, you know, not allowing comments.
It would be, I think, a time commitment on behalf of this board to manage it. And my concern is that it will either be dormant, we don't look good, or B, there's gonna have to be a lot of collaboration that people just won't be able to
If we
meet
do
that
it, it has to
standard.
be active.
That's it.
Yes.
In order for you to get the hits in the following, you has to be active.
Yes, I
So
agree.
it's a tremendous commitment.
I agree.
And there's 9 of us, and the reason why there's 9 of a Board of Ed, which is the busiest board of all boards, I think, is because there's so many subcommittees and it's hard to run a school system. To me, to run that too would hamstring us. I don't know about how you guys feel, but you got a lot of committees going on. You got a lot of projects going on.
I'm not one for this. I mean, I don't have a Facebook page. But there's a reason being, because someone who was very knowledgeable in that showed me how your personal information, financial and everything else is out there. So I'm not. But since we meet twice a month or 3 times a month, I think maybe we should not just do not use our own personal piece, Facebook or whatever, to comment on what happens at these meetings. And not have a Facebook page. Well, let's come to an agreement that we don't use our personal Facebook page or whatever system we want to use to make comments of the meetings and what other things we discuss at the budget or anything else.
I mean,
That could be a restriction on free speech.
there's
And
nothing.
there's a fine line there.
First of all,
But-
our bylaws don't cover
they're-
social media, right?
That's right.
So,
As board members.
As board
But
members.
there is guidelines from our attorney
yeah,
on, as a member of the board, what is your free speech limit and rights as a board member in the public? You're not stripped of speech, but there is some sort of guidance out there. I'm not an attorney, I can't speak to what the guidance is, but I know that it's not completely lost. We have the right to put things up on our personal pages within limits. Can't say you can't. But your point, though, Frank, is that the more you're present on social media, the more you do give yourself exposure to people out there on the web for nefarious purposes. Identity theft, personal information, that now there's another hit, somebody can find you. I think Facebook can be a place where stuff can happen.
Well, and the other thing
I'm
you
not
have
sure
to,
I want to be out there. I'm not really out there.
the other thing that we have to look at is, we have to be careful of the message that we're putting out there, as board members, and who is directing that message. So, just as we've learned, from CAPE and the new board member orientation is, if somebody comes up to you in the supermarket, and says, hey, what's going on with this and this, how do you react to that? Same thing on Facebook. How do you personally react to it? How does the board react to it? So there should be one clear, definitive message. So if we're gonna do it, it's gonna be a united, clear message on the board. What I would ask for the time being, that the page that currently is up, we do not utilize that right now.
Sure.
Okay, because the way it reads is the Winchester Board of Ed, and then, are you aware that your name is on it?
No.
Okay. So, and then, so that could come off as that you are speaking on behalf of the board, even though every item that's been on there is informational.
Well,
There's no message being put out other than information.
We have a, what is it called? A webpage. Remember those? We have a webpage,
Right.
right? So, and we do put information out there. We put our budget out there. So I'm wondering whether if you want to do this Facebook thing, because that's where the community is, they're not coming to our
No, they
webpage. They're sitting out on Facebook, that you mirror the information. That way, my concern about time constraint and vetting actually goes through you, because you're putting up the webpage. In terms of informational, okay, you can find somebody to, on the opposite party, if you will, to vet that, but at least but, you know.
In speaking to the Watertown Board Chair, he said it's not, all it is informational. It's pretty, the Vice Chair and the other member, any information they want to put out there, they bring it to me, and then it's out there. It's not, I don't know how much time that they put in to put the information out there. But obviously, whoever decides they want to do it, that's on, if they want to make that commitment, they want to make that commitment. If no one else want to make the commitment, then we don't do it. So this is just, we're just discussing this.
You'd have to have like a discussion over rules and procedure. For example, you
Right.
check it before it goes. Make sure it's accurate.
Right.
You have to vet that information before you send out wrong information or incomplete information, or maybe there's more information that they need because it's a part of the communication piece.
Anything that sounds complicated is complicated, and means it's gonna get screwed up somewhere down the line, probably the third time it goes out, so.
The thing with social media, though, is that's a really good way to get more community involvement. And that's
Completely.
kind of been
Completely.
That's our
so
motivation.
yeah, and I think it's a really good way to reach people and give them, and the informational only, absolutely. But just give them the information or have a summation so they're not watching 2-hour meetings.
Right.
And even like when you look at the notes from the meetings, it's like 20-something pages.
Yeah.
So this is a good way to get information out and get more people involved.
AI
And
can be helpful
we need
for that.
those things.
Well, I would like to see, well, I'm kind of taking my position back a little bit as we talk. I think maybe for the next meeting, somebody comes to the table with procedural rules and agreements that we would all see on paper to say, if we want to post X, Y, and Z, this is how it happens, here's the checkpoints, the check and balance before it goes out. Yeah.
I do think the community would, or does appreciate hearing the summations of the meetings from us, getting that information in a more concise manner so that.
And I really envision it as being a tool for, like I said, the referendum and then the budget vote. Like, I really think that that's a way to, like,
Engagement.
you know, everybody's scrolling on Facebook, they're gonna see it a bunch of times going by from here and there, and it just will make it stick in their minds even more. So that's my thinking, that's how I envision it being used. Yes, it does invite.
I like the idea of no comments.
Yeah,
Turning
me
off
too.
comments, keeping
I
it
don't think it's
essential and no
necessary.
That's
comments.
essential.
I mean, if it's gonna be just an informational page, I don't think comments are necessary.
No,
We
agreed.
don't allow comments on the district page, because you have to moderate that if you do, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
not
nobody
really
wants to do
Yeah,
that.
That's a full-time
Well,
job.
Well, and that could be terrifying as well.
Yeah.
Moderating comments.
I think
Yeah.
maybe part of the conversation then for next month would be a proposal like extent of information, like who's on it, what of our information goes, what's that extent? And then can you map it out? Like, I don't know how Facebook exactly works. If we create one, does it link to, what is the one for Winstead helping neighbors, neighbors helping neighbors? Does it link inside of that? I don't know how that all works. What's
No,
the, what's
I
the
think
web
you
look
I
like?
know the one you're talking about, because my neighbor
Yeah.
uses it.
Share it.
You
share
share
it
it within that,
to-
those other pages.
So I'd be just curious about
like-
what we're.
Posting an announcement, sort of.
Yeah. I'd be curious. And then where would we post where else? Park and Rec? I don't know if they've got Facebook pages. So just sort of like a possibility of its reach. Just curious, out of curiosity.
You
Anyone
have a
else?
page on your own, like a lot of people and organizations might come to you, the page, to go see it. And then also, once you make a page, whoever the moderator is, if we make the chair or whoever, you can often invite people to like someone, to like a page. Blank invited you to like this, blank invited you to like this. We could have Kurt invited you to like WPS, and we could send it to a lot of prominent people in the community. That could be an idea.
Come to the meeting, you'll hear it. I just said, come to the meeting.
I think it can't hurt to reach more people. Our website is followed by lots and lots of people who are already likely our supporters and our parents.
Right.
So reaching people who don't think to follow us because they don't have kids in the schools would be important. And I think a board page could take our posts and cross-post them if they're interesting, or if I post, remember to vote, you know, the board can just pop it right in there.
So we're talking the extent is just Facebook. And the extent is information only. The extent is no comments allowed. I would like to keep personal information off as much as possible
Oh, yeah.
as a board
Yeah,
member.
just our names.
Not even that.
Not-
Because go to the webpage for Winchester if you want to know who we are.
Yeah, I don't think we need to, I think it would just be the Winchester Board of Education.
Right.
I don't think we need to link our
Another
names.
hit
They'll-
on my
They'll
name.
figure out who we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, true, I mean, our names are.
Even
Yeah.
though we're being
You can
recorded.
put a link to
Yeah.
the website on there.
Yeah.
The web.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
it's one
good.
less
You can
thing.
put your coffee mug picture right on the top.
Yeah, I think the coffee mug image actually is a great image for the page. So thank you, Julie.
Bipartisan and then check with you before we use those sort of things.
So we won't
Do we need a?
do anything with it
No, it's just,
until we.
this is just a discussion,
Yeah.
maybe,
So
That's
next
fine.
month you come with like a little handout?
yeah, and maybe we can do it as an action item.
Sounds like you just pretty much hit all the key points
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Represent the full board, no comments, information only.
Well, I think it also, we have to figure out who wants to
Yeah.
be the administrators. So, that's what we'll, yeah, we'll figure that out. Any other discussion on this? Okay, perfect. On to item F, leadership opportunity at Advanced Board of Directors.
Really, this is an invitation for someone who is interested in participating. No one has to, but I would encourage you to consider it. The state of Connecticut is divided into, I believe, 6 different regions for education, and each of the regional education centers has a board. and all of the boards in the districts that are served by the RESC have the opportunity to have a board member serve on the RESC board. So if you're interested in that, the information is here. That'll give you a lot more specificity than what I'm saying quickly, but you can see that we are part of Ed Advance is our region. We use them. They run our kitchen. We use them for professional learning. We interact with them in a lot of ways. They manage the grant that provided us 2 half-time school counselors for the last 2 years. So we're very intertwined with them, and being on their board could only be a benefit to our community, and it would help us probably, I think the biggest benefit would be increasing our awareness of services and opportunities. So if anyone's interested, it tells you what to do, I think.
Does it say how often? Oh, I have to go to the website.
It
How
does
often they
say-
meet?
Yep, it does.
No, yes.
Not in this? Okay, so I will find the email and forward it to you all. I just assumed the flyer they provided with it told you what you needed. I will find the email that promoted it. I believe it meets monthly, maybe 9 months out of the year, and I think 6 or 7 of the meetings are virtual. But I will find that email and forward it to you tonight. Forward.
This is a RESC, right? And Advance is the Litchfield
Yes.
County RESC? Okay. Jonathan Costa. All right? Okay. So if you're working with him, how many members on the board? Do you have any idea? It's like, is it mass?
Well, it could be as many as all of these towns, but I don't think they
right.
have that many,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
because you don't have to have some.
Yeah.
Okay. On to item 8, action items, potential roof projects.
I invited Roger LaFleur to join us this evening. At prior meetings, we've discussed the condition of the roof. You're aware it requires the big job. I think the estimate we've received is ballpark $2.8 million. There is moisture when you do moisture scans. I do believe the asbestos scans were clear. So Roger is a project manager. Come on up to the table. And if you just touch the ring there, that should, thank you, Renee. So I asked Roger to join us just to sort of give us 101, what happens now. And on your motion sheet, I've given you a potential motion, if anyone chooses to make a motion. And our work on a roof would be at our reimbursement rate of 70%.
So I'm here not really to do any presentation. I'm really here to answer questions you might have on the grant process with the state. If your roof meets certain criteria, you qualify for your reimbursement rate, which at the current rate, moment is 72.14%. That changes annually, so it could be, and I was checking the trend. It's been trending slightly down over the last probably 5 or 6 years, okay?
Yeah, last I looked, I thought it was 70 for this year, but
No, I just
It's
checked the
definitely
26 rate, 72.14. That being said, on almost every school construction project, there's items that happen during the construction project that are considered what they call ineligible for reimbursement. And it could be because you used school personnel to do some of the work, that's ineligible. It could be some of the work had to occur off-site because maybe you were connecting utilities, that would be ineligible. So there's a list, they've got 4 pages of things that are ineligible, but for the most part, I see 99% of the projects tend to be eligible. So I'd say for the bulk of the project, you'll get reimbursed for the rate you're supposed to get. That being said, the process is that a grant application has to be submitted. It's a non-priority project, and the application has to be submitted within a reasonable amount of time, and that would be in the next few months. But my guess is that your project wouldn't be really eligible to do until the following summer. This summer, we just don't have enough time.
This summer of '26?
Summer of 27.
That's what you mean by
The following summer, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't bring enough, but I can pass around, this is a little bit of the process, and if you want, I can just pass around, you can take a look at it, of what has to occur for the grant application. And it'd be, if I were to be involved with your roof project, I would be doing these items along with the administration.
We should take a picture of that.
There'll be, you'll need educational specifications. Any grant application has to have educational specifications. I would write those. They would have to come back before this board. They would have to be approved by this board. We would also have to work with the town, and we'd have to have certain motions made. The first set is 3 motions to establish a building committee, to establish the, authorize the board to apply to the commissioner for the grant, and then authorization given to proceed with schematic drawings. So we would need a cost estimate, and then that I will put together this whole checklist, and then it would go forward to the state.
Is this DAS? Is that the state being DAS? Or,
DAS, they change all the
I'm
time.
just trying to learn.
It used to be Office of School Construction Grants and
Okay.
Review, it used to be Office of School Construction, but it's all under DAS now.
DAS, okay. I have lots of questions. Where do I start? We talked about asking for 100%, perhaps. How does that work? I mean, reimbursement comes in stages back to the town, right?
Well, it
Can you walk
depends,
us
it depends on the project. If
Okay.
it's a long-term project, like a school building project,
Yeah,
you would go progress payments.
That's
And, but almost every single project, except for the one for early childhood, would be paid at your rate of 72.14 if it were applied for in this year. Now, next year, when the rates are reformulated, you might be 72.1 or something, and that would be your new rate. So whatever year you make the application, and that's the rate you'll live and die by.
you lock in.
How long is the lock-in period for?
Once you apply, submit your application, you're good till the project's over.
But the interest, excuse me, the interest is, that's a requirement of the town or the Board of Ed to pay for it. There's no reimbursement for the time. Let's say this is going on for 2 years, the interest for the
If
loan.
you
Oh,
draw.
for bonding costs, like, for
Yeah.
example? Yeah, no, the bonding costs are paid by the town, no reimbursement for bonding costs.
But you don't have to
Right.
pull the full amount. I know
Right.
Paul has
Yeah,
very
right.
careful
Right.
thoughts
Yeah.
about only
Right.
drawing what you need, when you need.
Right, I hope he still holds on to that. Right, so it doesn't cost us anything.
You mean of the 72%, you draw only what you need when you need it?
You
To pay the
only
bills?
You only borrow money to pay your bills as you need it. You're
Okay.
not-
Typically, a roofing project is completed within about a 3-month period. So most roofing projects actually don't make progress payments. They might make one, but usually the projects are done within a few months, and then what you do is when you submit your final aspect of the grant application, which is called an SCGO 49F, that's when you apply and you get your bulk of your money, and then they'll hold about 11% until the final audit.
Change orders or anything like that, that's on you.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, something, you design a job, I mean.
I'm not a designer.
No, okay, I'm an engineer. You design a job,
Yep.
but things come up.
Right.
Utility things come up.
Unforeseen circumstances.
You can't go back to them and say, we need this other 30,000.
No, but you carry contingency. Okay, you carry it's recommended you carry somewhere between 5 and 10% contingency. And then some of the activities that take place ahead of time are like, I think you did the moisture
We've done a
testing.
moisture scan, we've
And
done
I-
an asbestos test.
And the asbestos testing. So those are usually the big ones. Other than that, the only other thing that can really happen is that you might find portions of the roof that have been deteriorated because of prolonged water damage. So what we usually do in the documents is we require that they carry unit pricing for replacing of decking or whatever else we might think they need. That way you kind of go in knowing
What
what
you're
your
gonna pay
cost is
for.
gonna be.
Okay.
All right, or you can carry it as an alternate. That money's all figured in the very beginning of the budget, okay? And so it's unusual. In fact, in my 25 years of doing this, I've never had a project go over the amount.
We have to request proposals at some point, right? Does the building committee do that, or does this board do that?
Proposals for what?
For the construction company, who's
Oh,
gonna be
absolutely.
who does that? The building
Project
committee
manager.
puts out?
I work with the town doing that. At the
Okay,
building committee.
that-
Because what happens is the Board of Ed is responsible for getting the grant. The
Uh-huh.
grant then is handed over to your building committee, which is run really by the town.
Uh-huh.
The money is run by the town. In other words, you folks won't be okaying invoices, it'll be the
Okay.
building committee. And then I attend those meetings. I review, along with the architect, all of the invoices. We make sure that they're okay. If they're not, we work through the issue. And then when the invoice is what we think is proper, then we'll give it to the building committee with a recommendation for payment.
How many members typically are on a building committee for a roof?
On a roof, I would say 5 to 6.
Does that include the business manager, I would imagine, and the
No,
superintendent?
It's whoever the town decides.
The town, so that would be.
My
the-
recommendation is also to have someone from the Board of Ed on, though, if
Okay.
possible. I'm trying to make more work for you, but
Mhm.
it's a good idea, though.
So our budget process is starting in February, and we go to referendum in May for the regular budget, the annual budget. Is it feasible, do you think, to get this rolling so that we have a referendum to the community about the roof March?
Yeah, I think already there's been some information collected on the roof and the roof condition. I'm working with another gentleman who's kind of a roof advisor. He's a technical person, knows a lot more about roofing itself than I do. I'm more about process and administration. He's more roofing technician. And he can tell you more about what the conditions are and the cost.
But we've done enough of the legwork that, yes, we should be able to.
I think you have a lot of that information.
Get the ed specs and go
Yeah.
to vote quickly.
We have to apply for this with the state. How quick do they move?
Yeah, if they're not real busy, they can move pretty good. What'll happen is if it passes referendum, then I would say we'd be prepared to go out for architectural services right away. Bring on your architect, get the design process going. I have actually put together, again, I only brought one copy, but it's a kind of a timeline for the process, okay? And it looks like, we would be, if you've got, I don't think I have the referendum figured in here, though I wasn't sure what your referendum date would be in this town. It differs on communities, so, but if you had your grant amount authorized, well, of course, we're doing it the following summer, so we've got plenty of time. But I still would like to see communities move quicker when they can, because the process can get bogged down here and there. So my feeling is you have an opportunity to be in really good shape to do this roof by the summer of '27. So I would say move forward on it and get as much done as you can. One of the other reasons I like to move earlier is because there's only about 5 or 6 major roofing companies that are qualified to do this work in the state of Connecticut, because they have to be DAS qualified. So if you look at all of the schools that are in the state of Connecticut and you have this work being divided up by about 6 or 7 companies, the first guys that come out, or the first districts that come out for bid on their projects are going to get, those are the jobs that are going to get taken by the contractors. And then what'll happen is that as projects come on late, contractors that already have a lot of work will then start bidding, and their price is going to go up. So I like to be one of the first ones when I get a roofing project to get out there. I like to get out to bid in February, March, not April, May, or June. Okay.
Wait, okay, so walk me through this process for a second.
Okay.
The application to the state has to happen after the referendum, because we have to show the state we have a commitment from the community.
Ideally, I think the state allows for an application to be submitted with the understanding that there's a hard date for the referendum.
Okay. And then you're saying bids should go out about February, March,
For the contractors.
right? And does that then happen after the application?
So, no, what would happen is the first thing you'll be going out for, assuming your referendum passes, you'll be going out for design services.
It's a separate contract.
After the architectural design, so referendum,
Exactly.
architectural design, and then the application from the state.
No,
Simultaneous?
almost. Oh, yeah, they kind of parallel one another. But
Simultaneous.
what would happen is if I got involved here, I would start the process of the grant application. There's a number of things that have to happen. I would start on the ed specs. I'd be back before you folks in about 2 months, having you approve the ed specs. Once the ed specs are approved, that's really the only thing I'd be waiting on. I could then submit the grant application to the state. In the meantime, if it looked good for the referendum, you could start the process for hiring an architect, okay? Once you had confirmation on the budget, then the architect could be engaged to start services and to start the design. I think the only other thing that I'm not sure about what it would take with this town, and that's your funding resolution after the referendum, is that I don't know if you have to have a separate approval by your, is it Board of Selectmen? Yeah. I don't know if you have to need a separate one on that or not, or if the referendum automatically does it for you.
I think we have to bring this to the selectmen.
Who then send it
to referendum.
Oh, as it goes to the selectmen, then
Think so.
Yes.
You'll have to-
That's
So
how
you-
we've been operating under that assumption.
Okay, so, yeah, we'll have to talk that through then.
Board of
I'm not sure
Selection is
exactly
not.
how that, because with the language, they would make an authorization for their share, okay? But it really wouldn't be binding if the referendum didn't pass.
Right.
Okay, so so we could probably still submit the application pending the referendum, the result of the referendum.
Okay.
And that way, we're not losing time, we're just pushing things forward. And if the referendum doesn't pass, you withdraw your application.
So what we're doing here tonight is getting it to the point of getting it to the selectmen, if that's what we vote on. So, any other questions?
I maybe have a question, maybe it's better for Julie though. The town's, burden, the town, what the taxpayers are responsible for, does that go out as a supplemental tax, or is it within the budget?
That would be up to the town manager so the town has to agree to,
We do that first.
to expend the funds, but Paul would weave that into the budget process for the following year in terms of
Okay.
how much of it
Yeah.
fits within the existing budget, and so there's no guarantee of how it will impact taxes, if at all.
Yeah, okay.
One question I have for you, this EAS certification, you said a number of contractors have to have this certification in
They all
order to
do.
bid on this job?
Yes, they do.
That's EAS, okay.
Yeah, it's DS certified.
DS?
DAS.
DA, I thought you said
Oh,
DAS.
sorry.
You're
Okay.
saying there's only 7 or 8, 6 or 7?
Roofing contractors, yeah, in the state. And you have to understand too, most of these roofs are fairly good size, so it's not just any roofing company that can come in and do the roof. They're pretty specialized. And most of the companies that would come in with probably 30, 40 personnel on the roof. So, and, if it's modified bitumen, they have to have the kettles, and it's a whole process. The other thing is CHRO. Are you folks familiar with that at all? CHRO requirements? No. It's the Commission on Human Rights. As soon as you go for state money, you now are bound to meet CHRO
minimum,
requirements,
mileage?
okay? And which means the contractor has to.
To have a minimum number of
They have to
people.
submit a plan, and it has to be
That I
approved.
understand.
A lot of the smaller companies don't do that. They don't go through that. It's the large ones that do this all the time. They're the ones, that's another limiting factor on the amount of companies that would actually apply and get this.
Gets messy.
Can be.
So what do you want from us is a motion to move this to, it says initiate the project to repair the Pearson roof, 70% reimbursement, which we now edit to 72.14. Approximately 2.8 million, resulting in blah, blah, blah. to request that the town initiate a project, the town being the Board of Selectmen. Like tonight, we could put this in the Board of Selectmen's hands?
Yes, if you vote to do this tonight, I'm to text Paul right away, and it will be on the next Board of Selectmen agenda, but that's coming up next, I'll say Monday, I think, so he would want to know right away if we decide next Tuesday.
Monday
Yeah,
we
it's a
have off.
holiday.
But that number should include the 10%.
The contingency?
But yes. Yes.
So that's, I guess the motion says approximately, and it says approximately, so I think,
Because we don't, and it's not out to bid.
Sure.
We got our best estimates of a range between 2.8 and 2.9 was a worst-case scenario number. You know, our moisture stand came in worse than we expected, so that bumped it up a bit, but that number was intended to be the absolute worst-case scenario.
well, let's just say it's worse than worst case. Can this motion, we don't have to come back to the Board of Ed if it goes to 2.9 million, right?
Or, you mean Board of Selectmen?
Well, Board of Selectmen,
Or-
I mean, does it come all the way back to go?
No, what happens is this, based on the estimate by the advisor, and what the state also usually recommends, that you carry at least $50 per square foot. That's their recommendation. They don't require, but they recommend it. So we would use that number or even slightly higher. It doesn't mean you have to spend it, but it just means that you're prepared, you've authorized that amount of money. Now, that's the whole amount. You're not required to authorize the full amount, you're only required to authorize your share. You found the roughly 30%, okay? Our recommendation is that you should always carry more, maybe somewhere around 35 to 40%, okay? So that unforeseen circumstances, something comes up that you weren't aware of, you don't want to have to halt the project or not be able to pay something, so you have a little bit extra there.
We're not identifying how, I mean, we're not the ones writing the referendum that would go out. We're not
Right,
making that
right.
decision. I consider that to be for the selectmen and Paul to figure out, you know, the financial, how it would work best for the town, which is why we tried to craft this so that it
I also found.
described the scope without pinning anyone down to a plan.
You
Okay,
found
see
this,
what
this has to do with the regulation.
Thank you. Yes, I know that's been a question.
Full amount.
Authorization for the local share of the project cost. Thank you.
So if we do this tonight, we can probably possibly get a referendum out there by March?
Kind of a question for the Roger question.
Sure, okay, it's more town than Roger question.
If I were a town official, I'd say yes, but
Okay,
We
Okay.
already really have the
And it's easy.
sure,
that we need, so.
okay.
If the Board of Selectmen were to vote yes next week.
I mean, it's been on there,
Sure.
they're well aware of
Sure.
this, yeah.
I make a motion to request that the town initiate a project to repair the Pearson School roof, anticipating a 72% reimbursement rate of an approximately 2.8 million cost, resulting in approximately a cost of $840,000 to the town.
We'll second that motion.
I would say 2.8 plus 10%.
The 13% buffer would be good.
We can get clarification, but I'm pretty sure this is a buffered number already. I mean, the $50 number that Roger just said comes out to 2.4, so.
I think you're in pretty good shape. The only thing that, again, not to disagree with you, but I just would like to check with Chris prior, because he's the one that has a little bit better handle on that. But he was pretty assured that you were in a good spot at 2.8, 2.9 in that range, so, okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna lean in on the word approximately, and then approximately resulting in a cost of $840,000 to the town.
That's good.
And Eleanor, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Thank you very much.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, this thing.
Thank you very much, Roger.
Okay, on to item B, potential preschool expansion.
Okay. This is a very similar conversation. I have a very informal drawing from from the H2M architect and engineer who visited us, really just to give you a sense of what we're talking about. Extras. Rosie, do you want a copy of this? You didn't see part of it, Renee?
We have
This
some
is,
extras too.
Again, this is charitable or donation of time, but this is very graciously provided to us by the folks at H2M, and we are grateful. They spent time at the school. We had decided as a leadership team that we wanted to add 3 preschool classrooms was the scope, and then the other thing that was sorely lacking at Hinsdale School was adult laboratories. There are literally 2 single-person bathrooms in the entire building for adults, which there's got to be a better part of 75 people working there. So, and they have their planning periods 4 at a time. It's tight. So this space would provide 3 classrooms, and again, this is really in concept. We obviously would work closely with an architect and have better drawings. If this were going to referendum, we would hire on someone to give us real drawings so that people could see what they were voting on. The reimbursement for a project of this scope is able to be 100%. You can't go beyond 100%. So even though Roger said we're up to 72%, either way, you don't get to go beyond 100. That'd be pretty cool if they started paying you, but they don't. So the reimbursement rate is 100%. I asked around, my sort of rule of thumb is ask 2 different people, and if you get similar responses, and based on our Hinsdale project, conservatively, no more than 5% of a project's costs are likely to be unreimbursable. And in fact, on the Hinsdale project, our percent was, I think, less than 2%. So what I've got here for you is a motion that is very similar to the one you just voted on for the roof project. 3 preschool classrooms, 3,700 square feet. Again, these are rough numbers, but to give you a sense of scope, anticipating a 100% reimbursement. Loosely, it looks to be about $3.5 million project, and we should get back all but maybe $150,000 of that. And that $150,000 is closer to the 5% than the 2%. 2% of that would be like $70,000. So somewhere between the 70. So it's really probably not a heck of a lot more than $100,000 for us to add that space. What you're looking at is classrooms that would be in the front of the school. That's sort of the bus loop that passes in front of it in the parking lot, and the little playground that's there would go behind. There's a narrow tract behind the current grade 1 classrooms that would make a nice spot there for that.
I'm having a hard time visualizing this. Where's Dunkin' Donuts?
Over here.
Okay.
Right?
No.
Yeah, Williams is down the right side.
Yeah,
Williams
So
Avenue.
yeah, Duncan will be
yeah,
over
so
in that
Duncan would be over here. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So the green is in the back.
yes.
Okay. Green is in the back of the building.
No,
No, it'd be the front.
That's the front.
this
Facing
is
the
going right on
playground.
the front of the school.
It's facing the
Oh,
parking
but
lot.
I'm holding my
Facing the
paper upside down.
playground and the parking lot.
Yeah,
That picture is
facing the
upside down.
playground.
Where's the shed?
Yeah, because
The
this
shed
is the
would
front of the
be-
school here.
Right here?
Yes. The shed.
I got you.
Yeah.
So this is the backyard,
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah,
Yes,
that old field.
Yeah.
Gilbert owns that field.
yes.
Okay.
yes, so Duncan
Yeah.
should be
No,
over
over
here.
here. You're, we're over here. Oh, wait,
Flip
yes,
it
yes,
over.
yes.
Duncan, that's why you were driving. So Nora, for my own head, if you flip it over,
Yeah.
this is the front of the school where these are. Duncan is back there. This
Right.
picture is upside down for my head.
Okay, so
Your favorite culvert is
now,
over here.
now my culvert is over here?
Yeah,
Okay. And,
right here, this is the driveway going out, like if you're gonna go across and over to Duncan.
Right, so Gilbert's that.
Gilbert's up this hill. This is probably baseball diamond, maybe? This is the playground
Oh.
out this way. This isn't the only option, but this was the simplest option.
So we walk in through this door for committees.
No. We walk in.
We park here and we walk,
We come in sort of here.
okay. Oh,
This is where that little playground is.
yeah.
So we're bumping out where, you're saying we're eliminating or removing the bus loop? Or
Nope.
pushing the bus loop?
Nope.
Oh.
This is going sort of within the confines of the little playground there.
Oh,
This is-
okay.
This
These
is
are
the
tiny
least
classrooms.
intrusive, no,
They're not tiny
no,
classrooms?
they were preschool classrooms are actually very large classrooms and they have a bathroom in them.
Is that the blue box, bathrooms?
It's pink, I think.
Oh.
Pink is the bathroom.
Pink is the bathroom?
Pink is the grown-up bathrooms. I'm not sure what blue is, honestly.
Because don't you need facilities in each of these rooms for children?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
What we,
We have taken sidewalk existing classrooms. Space.
And then tweaking the driveway and some of the little islands, yeah.
right, he said we would not have to lose parking spots, but we would have to do a little bit of site work to keep the number. We can't afford to lose parking spots.
Yeah.
What about the size of, like, the CAF? We talked about that. If this had more kids in it, we'd have to modify the CAF and modify the,
No. These kiddos don't eat in the cafeteria.
okay?
If we were doing a bigger project, we would have loved to build a big
A
gym
gym,
and
right.
separate it from the
All right,
cafeteria.
so
There
this
are
is-
bigger
This avoids-
versions of this
This
story.
avoids that.
So no gym change, or no gym,
We're
no
not
separate
really
gym.
changing anything about the school, we're just adding
Adding
classrooms
these.
and
So-
one adult bathroom.
nothing above in the second
Nope,
story?
we're not going up.
None of that conversation is, that's
I
all
mean,
moot.
Really cool would be to purchase this property here and then do all kinds of great things, but that's a much larger, complicated, then it just takes this to a whole other scope. So
Sure.
this is the smallest project that accomplishes what we wanted to do. It doesn't really address other issues that we would love to address in the school, but it provides more space to provide preschool for more 4-year-olds.
So,
How many are you anticipating, students?
Currently, we run 16 students in a classroom. For preschool, that's a lot. I would love to see us, if we were to use the space in the building and these 3 rooms, I would love to see us do 6 classrooms of 4-year-olds at 14 students in a class, which is a much more manageable preschool size, and then 1 classroom for 3-year-olds.
And would we be open to the surrounding towns to have them with
If we
tuition?
didn't fill with our own kiddos for some reason, we would take tuition students from other towns.
Okay.
I think our vision here is to make something spectacular. And essentially, the goal is to sort of start school for all Winchester children for free the year prior to when we start now. So instead of taking all 5-year-olds, it would be we take all 4-year-olds.
Be great.
Which would make, in terms of community appeal, that's a nice selling point for people who are looking to move into the community.
Preschools.
What were we talking about? At one point, we were just Winchester area, childcare, how does that affect? And then there was a Torrington equivalent to this, wasn't there?
So Torrington does have their own preschool. This is designed for our kiddos, so it doesn't overlap the Torrington Public Schools. Winston Area Child Care currently takes 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. They would continue to get children who need year-round care or who need longer than a school day care, although we can provide, we do transport kids for before and after school care to Winston Area. We currently take more 3-year-olds than we probably would. And there's also an advanced classroom and 2 advanced classrooms at Pearson School. They might not need to have both of those if we fill our spaces. So the goal of the state and the goal of our district is to provide universal preschool. We don't have to be the only game in town, so we work in partnership with local daycare like Winston Area. We work in partnership with Ed Advance. If we were to grow, Ed Advance was not concerned about the possibility that they might need 1 less classroom. They said their only thought was if they have good people that we would consider consider hiring them, which of course we would. One possible benefit of that is that we might gain back a classroom at Pearson School, which we could really put to good use, because the preschool, the Ed Advanced classrooms are in Pearson School.
Did you talk to Winstead area childcare people? Because Ed Advance says it's okay as long as we hire their people, if you will, softens the blow. What about the Winstead area childcare folk?
We have talked with them as well.
Okay.
They would rather we don't do this,
Okay.
because they are a business, and, you know, business that pays all its people. We think we do a great job with preschool and are upping our preschool game. We're working on our NIAC accreditation and feel strongly that a 4-year-old program in our schools would be of extraordinary benefit to the community.
So understanding this, the state has really, they're putting money towards this, right? And it sounds like as we go further down the road, this is gonna be more of a requirement by the state.
Mandate, which is gonna
More
be
like
it's gonna be
almost a
mandate
man,
now.
right?
So, you know, without a crystal ball.
Without the possibility of
The funding.
the funding.
My hot take is that this is one of those times where you can take the money and be on the forefront and solve a problem before it's a problem. I don't know that they will one day require it, but they are certainly all in for preschool and early childhood. There's, again, the 15%, and you know, preschool in particular hits 2 buttons because it's special education programming and it's early childhood, and both of those are hot buttons in the state right now. The early childhood has its own endowment, which is unheard of in the world of state grants. So it is
And that will
possible.
help fund the educators.
Yes.
So what we're talking about is
Facilities.
the facility, but we also want to be aware that the educators that are going to be educating these 3 new classrooms and these students are going to be paid for.
So it's 2+ years out, because if we approve this now and then you start building, it wouldn't be running next school year and it wouldn't be running the school year after. Next school year, probably in the spring or possibly in the fall of the following year, before we're open and ready to go, will be the next grant cycle for early start seats, and we would be applying for those.
So it would be starting in the year 27, 28.
Yeah, or 28, 29.
Right now, we're in 25, 26,
Wait,
26,
we would
27?
be planning during the 26, 27 year, we would be building in the 27,
building.
28 year,
All
and
right.
opening in the 28, 29 year.
Wow.
So it's not a quick process.
No.
But now is when the 100% is there. If we, you know, in 28, 29, find out we need to do this, we might be back to our 70% standard reimbursement. And we turn kids away, so we know that there are more kids that would come. And we are working really hard to
Gamble.
make our program amazing.
Do we gamble and say we go with this for this year for the bond and next year for the roof?
I wouldn't risk it because we can risk losing that 100%.
So, totally at the appetite of the board and also the Board of Selectmen. The one thing I will say to you is, the roof project hurts, right? Going out to the community and saying, we want $800,000 to fix something, like, it's just not pretty. But if we need $800,000-ish for the roof and we need $150,000 for the preschool, we're under $1 million. We're adding preschool, fixing a roof. So something to me about putting them together feels like a potentially winning proposition, but that's just one man's opinion.
I
That's
would buy that if you can show me something, what we can give up for the 150,000 if we can't do that. In other words, we want the we want to do this. What are we willing to give up in the budget to do it?
So it's free.
Free. Is it?
It's a fair question. If we committed that if the town went ahead with the preschool project, that we would figure out, so we have our 440 line. Theoretically, we could fund the ineligible costs to the tune of $100,000 to $150,000
It's
from
a
that.
one-time cost. 440 is one time.
Right,
It's good.
it's a good match.
We would
I know
have,
Nancy's twitching a little, but I don't hate that. I mean, it's the only thing standing between us and bankruptcy, but to your point, if you feel like that's a huge,
In
a
this
very
climate
different-
this year, yes, I think it is. I think people are looking for something, if you want something, give something up.
theoretically, we could cover the ineligible costs with that grant.
Oh, so $150,000 is the ineligible cost?
Yeah.
Okay.
probably.
Ballpark. Again, that, the 150 is probably a worst-case scenario, but the project amount is a very loose number because this is a very loose, you know. If we approve this, we would look to get more serious with drawings and, but if we're not going forward, I just really didn't want to spend a penny.
So, so the thing is, the grant opportunity might run out.
Well, not happen. In other words, it'd only be for 1 year and then they take it away.
That's right. So we're against the wall on that.
Right.
And then we'd have to put out a pamphlet so the community understands the value of this thing instructionally, programmatically. I mean, one of the things that we're not talking about tonight is we're forgetting, this tune of funding is also $100,000 per classroom on teacher material, teacher salary, right? That's the other
You're talking
thing.
about the early start.
Yeah,
So, again, we don't have that funding secured, so I
All
want to
right.
be cautious about how we say that, but we would be applying for a grant that would help outfit the classroom as well as pay for the staffing.
Now, could we word it as like the $150,000 or the ineligible cost will be over like the time until the project is completed, or do we have to front load that money at the start?
You have to have it approved at the start in order to get the grant, but you don't have to fund it at the start.
Okay.
You know, that project, unlike what Roger said about a roof, because it's a 3-month project,
Yeah,
you're spending money along the way, you're getting reimbursed along the way.
so what is the project cost then?
So what would the referendum look like as far as numbers that the town will be voting on? Is it the 840 and 150?
That'll be up to
Or is
Paul.
it 2.8 and 3.5?
This is a
Because-
3.5 project?
Yeah, because if the town is looking
Yeah.
at both of those numbers together,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a tough sell.
Plus insurance is going up.
That's
So-
not gonna sell.
Paul would be the one to craft the referendum.
Saucerize.
And it would likely have to explain that we are committing the town to the projects to the tune of these amounts, sort of the way I've said it here, with a net cost to the town of blank and blank, which hopefully to the Bergen shopper should feel exciting that you're getting $7 million worth of work for $1 million.
And as much as we can say that the preschool project is 100% reimbursable, they're just gonna look at the total amount.
Yeah. and
Well, that's what I mean, you gotta educate, and you gotta have that
Yeah.
pamphlet, and the math.
Be a good
So-
use
I
of the
mean,
Facebook
honestly,
page.
yeah, yeah, I know.
So that's my concern. I honestly think, I don't think the town will have an issue with the roof.
No, that's something,
That's health, that's
I
raining on us
think-
something you
now,
have to do.
I think
that matters. Sure.
what I said from the beginning is, we have a brand-new school in Hinsdale. If we're adding on to that already, at the tune of whatever number we put out there, I think that could be a deterrent to the taxpayers.
Are these prefab
So-
units? Are these no. Could we use prefab units like they do in the city?
I've never seen anything that would be appropriate for a preschool, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Usually, you mean like a modular classroom?
Yeah.
So those usually are like trailers, so they're like, you go
Well,
up
I've
steps.
seen the Butler buildings, they're getting more and more, they used to be trailers.
We
They're
could-
getting much more sophisticated over the
As I
years.
Because
said, I
part-time
haven't
becomes
seen that, but
full-time.
we could explore it.
Becomes permanent.
I don't know that that would be reimbursable in the same way. In fact,
Right.
temporary classrooms are not usually reimbursable,
Right.
actually.
Once they get secured to the building or to the ground, to the foundation, they're no longer temporary.
So it's something we would definitely explore.
I'm just saying, that might bring numbers, but
I think brick and mortar is good for these students, because any trailer, I think they can just destroy.
These are pretty nice buildings, believe me.
You've met our preschoolers.
Am I wrong?
You mentioned that once, let's just say this goes ahead, green light to build, we would apply for a grant to outfit the class and to pay for staffing, right?
Yes.
How many staffing members does this, you anticipate for this again?
It would be
Three?
three teachers for 3 classrooms and 3 teaching assistants.
Three
One
tiers.
classroom.
So 6.
6. And that would be grant funded, so then would there be a fiscal cliff eventually if these folk would have to roll into the budget at some point?
Well, our early start, our school readiness grant has been around for, 20-plus years probably, and never, and it is based on an endowment, so it's not like a one-time. The one-time is the building grants. Those are like, get it now or lose it forever. But the staffing, if you get early start seats, there's no reason I think those would ever go away.
Because it's an endowment.
Right, and it's been in existence for ages and ages under the name School Readiness. They've just rebranded, but
So, would this be one of those, if we want to open in the year 2028, 2029, that we need to get a ball rolling for March with the roof?
so this is a project that would have to, we would have to get grant approval by June 30. They do, like, it's a once-a-year thing.
Okay,
So,
great approval.
So the hope was to put these two together,
that's one
But-
version of the story. You don't have to.
but
I
But if
don't-
we wait longer, we might lose the opportunity for the grant approval June 1.
I mean, can
It
we
really
do,
is.
can we do a
June 30th.
March for the roof and then come back by May and ask the town for this project? I don't know what the best way to do this.
You're gonna try to pass a budget at the same
Right,
time.
right, so May, or so now June
Well-
30th is,
And
we're
you-
up against it.
And you're gonna,
Well,
And you probably need to know you're going
how does it
forward with this
work?
one to get some
how does it
drawings
work
and
if
stuff.
we ask for the referendum for the roof now? This, what we're discussing, this budget year. And then after the next September, we make that our priority for the school, for the classrooms.
We're gonna lose the 30.
You could definitely do that, and the 30 might come back next year, but there's no assurance that the extra 15% bonus grants will be there. They're only guaranteed for this school
right,
year.
that's right.
We'll lose that 100%.
We get that bonus.
Right,
Get it
and
now.
it's 70%, I don't know if we'd be having this conversation. The
Right,
beauty
right.
of this, again, I bring it to you because what kind of superintendent would I be if I didn't come to you and say, we can get 100% reimbursement to
I
do
know.
construction? If it were 70%, I don't think we would have brought this to you.
I think-
When I look at the state and saying, if it's such a wonderful idea, why are you dangling only this little thing in front of us and not do like you do for the regular grants and say, this is available to you next year?
I think they allocated the funding for this, bonus grants, they allocate on each legislative cycle. I feel like on one of the calls that I had with DAS, they said, it might be there next year, we hope it'll be there next year, but
No,
until
nobody
they
can
get
guarantee
through.
nothing. Nobody can, I learned that in budget processes.
And until it gets voted on in the legislature, they can't say yes, they don't know that. It sounds like they would like it to be available, but it's only approved or authorized for this year. And I think the timing question is probably one that if the board wants to go forward, and then it can go to Board of Selectmen, and it can go to Paul, it can be a strategy conversation with the Board of Selectmen chair, yourself, Paul. We're not specifying when it would go to referendum. I think Paul has a lot of thoughts about that. And the Board of Selectmen can also tell us no, so.
I think we take a motion, we push it to the Board of Selectmen. I think that we educate folk to let them know it's 100%, and that 660 fund can pick up the 150 overage if necessary. We put a flyer out there, but this means full court press as a board to communicate to the program, to the community, its value.
I think that's essential. That is
Yeah.
essential.
And
I
that's now, until March, I think it becomes part of the
Yeah,
referendum with the
messaging
roof,
is the biggest thing, yeah, absolutely.
if we were really serious about this.
Well,
think it's such a great asset to the town. I mean, and also supporting more preschoolers to be ready for a full day at school. I mean, helps down the line too, as they grow and get older, and therefore can help teachers as well. So it's just, it's a really great opportunity.
Well, and it's something that will bring people to our town, knowing that there's a pre-K program, not having to pay for daycare anymore. That's huge.
I know.
For struggling families.
Yep, it sure is.
I do, it not only is it a benefit to the children and the teachers, it's a benefit to the community in helping build our community.
I think it's a nice feather in the cap.
Any other discussion on this?
Well, okay. I make a motion the town initiate a project to add, plus or minus, 3,700 square feet, or is that dollar amount?
Oh, yes, sorry.
3,700, approximately 3,700 square feet, including 3 preschool classrooms into Hinsdale, anticipating 100% reimbursement rate of an approximately $3.5 million cost, resulting in approximately the cost of $150,000 to the town taxpayer.
I'll second that.
All right. Joe, second. All in favor?
I say nay.
Okay.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay.
So was that?
So, all in
Frank
favor?
went out of
All in
all
favor,
favor.
Frank.
So all in favor is 5.
Aye.
5, all
To 1.
opposed?
All opposed?
Oh,
Okay.
510.
That's exciting. Thank you.
All right. On to item D, policy for deletion, business equipment authorized use of school-owned materials.
Wait, we've got a project closeout before that, I'm sorry.
Oh, yep, I'm sorry.
Nancy just handed me something I'm gonna provide to you. It's got a lot of numbers on it, but basically, there's a very long motion that needs to be made. This is-
Speaking of Hinsdale,
Yeah, this is the final closeout of the Hinsdale project, which
From the
may
bonding,
feel a little
the work-
crazy.
The work that was done.
I'm sorry?
That was from the bonding and the work that was done.
Right. This was the total renovation of Hinsdale School. You can see that was a almost $16 million project. And I'll direct you to see 250 ineligible costs. So that gives you some sense of, in a $16 million project, there was only 250,000 of ineligible. This, we're talking about something that's about a fifth the size in terms of financial scope. So basically, this says it's done. Even when the work is done, the work that we see, like on the building, there's a lot of work still going on behind the scenes with the paperwork of it and the reimbursement and getting every last penny from the state to close it out with DAS. And that is a lot of work that the town has been diligently pursuing. We back them up, but they're, as Roger said, the town does the money. So finally, that is closed. And in order to finish it, they need us to approve the motion that's here, literally, like this is their script that we have to say. Nancy, you want to add?
I also would like to add that DAS will not consider approving
a new
another
project.
project,
Right.
i.e. the roof project, unless this one is closed out.
Oh, okay.
So does the warranty start from today's date on anything? Like, you know how a roof has a 20-year warranty?
Started when we moved in,
When you moved in,
yeah.
not tonight?
No.
Okay.
However, I think what Nora's riffing off of is the roof project. With the former Pearson roof, it was never properly closed out, which created a huge issue of our reimbursement for the current project, and it took a lot of legwork of finding the old warranty and such. I do believe that the clock, whatever number of years they say before you can do a renovation again, that clock probably starts ticking with this motion, I think.
You mean tonight, once this is signed, sealed, delivered?
I'm not sure about that, but that would follow the logic of the roof project. That either it's the night you closed it, or when, like for the roof, it was when the warranty could prove when it was done.
Yeah.
But I
And
don't know
this
that we
is-
have a
this is
warranty per
done.
se. This is done. So,
Okay, so I would say,
Somebody want to read the motion to close out Hinsdale?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education approves as complete and accepts the Hinsdale School renovation building project herein identified for public school purposes, that certifies the project has been accepted by the architect and construction management firms. All change orders for this project have been approved by the State Department of Administrative Services. The grant received for this project does not represent a duplication of funding, and that funds received do not exceed 100% of the total cost of the project. All bills for the project have been paid, or funds to pay such bills are deposited in a separate escrow account. The total sum noted in this application was expended for the school building project herein described. All applicable provisions of Chapter 173 of the Connecticut General Statutes have been met in the completion of the project described herein. All the statements contained in this application are true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief, and application is hereby made under CGS Section 10-287D for payment of the school building project grant due based on the completion of the project described herein.
Thank you. Do you have a second? All in favor? Unanimous. All right. On to item D, policy for deletion. Business equipment, authorized use of school-owned materials. I think this one came back to us.
hopping around, it's already been by you before, there was a question, and I just had to go back and locate. We have a policy from Shipman that is in conflict with this. This says like, teachers will never use a computer for personal use. Our current policy says that it is for incidental use, meaning if you're sitting at your desk at work and you check your email, like, that's fine. Because the world has changed a lot since the policy that we had from CABE was written, so.
Shipman's is better than this.
Yes, and Shipman's you've already adopted. This is one that I probably could have deleted just because it had been replaced, but I didn't want to do that now that I had already brought it to you once. I wanted you to see that it was.
I objected to this because I said, well, what if the teacher goes ahead and uses an overhead projector for a birthday party, pulling it off campus? Does Shipman's policy cover that sort of thing?
Well, it says, so we don't have overhead projectors, but,
It says incidental.
right, it says incidental use.
So, incidental means,
What is the clarification for incidental?
I'm gonna say if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck. If somebody pauses to check their email at work, that's incidental. If they were to take an Elmo home for the weekend and not ask about it and it broke and that's why we found out about it, that might be a little more than
that's
incidental.
not an incidental.
Right.
Guess that's management.
Yeah.
That's supervision and management. Okay.
All right. We'd like to make a motion to delete.
Make motion to delete.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? All right. On to item 9, public comment. The Winchester Board of Education welcomes you to its business meeting. There are 2 opportunities set aside to hear comments from the public. We welcome and encourage public participation as a valued part of communicating input with the Winchester Board of Education. We appreciate your adherence to the following. Complete the requested information on the sign-in sheet if you wish to speak. Name, address, and email. State your name and address when called upon to speak. You will be allotted 3 minutes to share your comments. Please be advised that it is not the practice of the Board of Education to engage in dialogue regarding commentary. The superintendents of schools will be directed by the chairperson to prepare an appropriate response in a timely manner. We appreciate your time and thoughtful commentary. Does anyone wish to speak? As I see none, we will move on. Item 10, future agenda items and board member comments.
I have a suggestion for maybe another future agenda item. You know how we're dealing with tests like DIBELS and these acronyms are starting to fly? Can you share with us perhaps as an educational opportunity for the board and the community to see what question types look like? Like, what is a DIBELS? What does it look like when a kid tackles a DIBELS? What does it look like when they tackle an SBAC question? What does it look like when they tackle NGSS type of question? I found that very informative, because I don't have my hands in those areas. I thought that would be kind of cool.
And how about also, does iReady,
Ooh, iReady is another.
does iReady
It's
conform
similar
to our curriculum? Is our curriculum following, or iReady, are there answers to iReady that we are not teaching in our curriculum? So are we properly
useful?
preparing? Yes.
We purchased iReady a while ago, remind me if I'm, and we spent quite a bit for it because of its response to the teacher to enable them to then deploy a project, instructional components based on the student's need.
We've actually pulled that piece back.
Okay.
We're using it now as a 3-time-a-year screener,
Yeah,
which is particularly important in the earlier grades where we don't get SBAC data. So
Mhm.
the iReady is really our beginning, middle, and end of year screener that, in addition to the DIBELS, that allows us to know with the little ones how they're progressing.
maybe that's part of the conversation then. What does an iReady look like?
So
And how are we
Does
using
our
it?
curriculum prepare our kids for iReady?
Well,
so iReady should be
Is it
telling us
testing?
what
Yes.
the kids
Should.
have learned and what they're ready to learn next, and it is based on the, oh my goodness,
Common
the
Core?
standards, the Common Core
Common Core
standards.
standards, aligned with Common Core.
Let me ask this, do you see this as something you'd like to do at a whole board meeting, or that you'd like to do at a committee
Committee.
meeting? I mean, it's sort of fits with
Committee.
committee,
Yes.
but could be either. But it's a little bit of a deep dive, so it might be more committee.
Are parents curious about what these tests look like? Because we have a camera here, but we don't have a camera at committee.
Yes, please, Rosie, thank you.
We send home a one-sheeter that explains each of the assessments attached with the score. So they get a printout of the letter of what each of these assessments are,
Mm-hmm.
so they understand that. For some of the assessments, like iReady, we can't go in the backside and see what the questions are that the students are being asked, so it gets a little bit tricky.
Not released.
DIBELS, we can, of course,
Yeah.
but
So you don't get parents clamoring for, hey, show me an example. Okay. So maybe just committee.
I think with the way that we present the information and the data, as well as pair it with the conferences and explaining what
Sure.
the students are learning, I think it all seamlessly fits
Okay.
together.
I honestly, when I've gotten the iReady testing, I haven't had any questions about what the students were being asked, because it's pretty comprehensive. Tells you what each score, like what they were tested on, where their
Vocabulary,
weaknesses are, where their strengths are within those categories.
Maybe a future agenda item will be the Facebook policy, procedure steps and all of that and agreements. And then, the marketing strategy for the roof and the marketing strategy for this preschool initiative.
Our message?
Yes,
Yeah.
because of the educational piece that needs to happen to the community.
Can I suggest, to your point, Nora, that if these both make it on the Board of Selectmen agenda for next Tuesday, that some of our board members try to attend in case there are questions or to show support?
Yep. And that's the 20th, is it?
No, they meet on Monday nights?
Ordinarily, but
well,
Martin Luther
King
King.
Martin
on
Luther King.
Monday.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, okay.
So the 6:30 Winchester Board of Selectmen, there's an EDC meeting at 6. Just to let you know. Anyway, 6:30 on the 20th.
I'm sorry?
No, the EDC's next door, so. no.
And Board of Selectmen will be in here.
Correct.
VTC is 6.
Anything else?
I just have one comment. This is actually in regards to our Teacher of the Year. We are very blessed to have her as my son's second grade teacher this year. I did just want to say that recently, within the last couple of weeks, he did declare to the entire family that he is now a nerd because he loves going to school, and that is because he loves his teachers so much.
That's fantastic.
That makes
That's
all
so
the
nice
difference.
to hear.
That makes all this
Yes,
paperwork work
love it.
well.
Thank you for sharing that.
We did let him know that there are worse things he could be than a nerd, though.
Yes.
So.
Good point, good point.
Anything else? All right. Someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Jonathan, second? Joseph? All in favor?
9:07.
Unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
But this is what I
Thank you
meant,
all very
like,
much.
you know, that's where I was trying to go.
Yes,
Yeah, sorry.
No, thank you.
It was my